interesting to contemplate. The Russian economy is only a tiny bit bigger than the Australian economy. We're just 25 million people. We've a lot of debate here about our one-shot military. As a senior military guy referred to it himself the other day, we need to do a lot more, but we might come back to that in a moment. In the meantime, here is an economy that has benefited from, and will continue to benefit if they can find a way to trade, from the West's confused policy on energy, I would have thought. Now, as I understand it, under both Presidents Obama and Trump, America became energy self-sufficient. Fracking was allowed. I think I'm right in saying Obama at one stage said, "Thank God for fracking. It's helping us reach our environmental objectives."
He didn't open ANWR up, the Alaskan reserve that's got about a potential of 1 million to 2 million barrels a day. That was closed. And he did stop new leasing of federal lands for natural gas. And he was ambiguous. They had committees about Keystone, but it was not green lighted. But because the price of gasoline got so high and he was under pressure, he sort of said, well, if the frackers want to do it, I won't really stop them. But we never got up to this incredible 13 million barrels. So when Trump came in, he opened the ANWR field. He opened new federal leases on new lands for gas and oil. He green-lighted Keystone. And then more importantly, he told banks and lending agency that he wanted them, and they were to lend to frackers and horizontal drillers. And then he went and told them that you're heroic people. And the result of the jawboning and these policies were that we had an incredible surge in which we became the largest natural gas producer and oil producer in the history of civilization. We were on our way to 13.5, 14 million barrels of oil alone. We were energy self-sufficient. If you look at, we were exporting and importing, but the net total was we were producing more than we were consuming. And so it was a stunning success. And then in addition to that, I think we sometimes forget this. He said to the Germans, almost right when he came to office, that famous confrontation when he's talking to the NATO members, and he says, Germany has no business with this Nord Stream 2, and we're going to sanction it. But we have a carrot. We are going to open up new federal lands, and we will have billions of cubic feet of natural gas, and we're going to have liquefied natural gas ports, and we can send a lot of it to you. And what we can't send to you, we're really high on this Cypriot Greek-Israeli pipeline, the so-called East Med project that was going to send another whole slew of natural gas through Italy. And so he was trying to find ways to break this logjam. And when people came back to him and said, that'll cause global warming, or the Turks won't like it, or the Russians won't, that was oblivious. So when he left office here in the United States, gas was very cheap. It's doubled in price in California, doubled. And I've never in my entire life paid $5 a gallon, which we are paying now in California. So it was a stunning achievement. And Biden came in, and his candidacy and then his transition and his presidency was in the hands of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, I think the Obamas and the squad, and they all were John Kerry, radical green advocates, and we've lost almost 3 million barrels. A lot of this was tragic because it really meant that it was a contributor to this 7.5%, 8% annual inflation that we're suffering. It was a contributor to sort of bad relations with Canada when we reneged on the Keystone pipeline that would have given us Alberta oil. It showed that we were weak when we were begging Putin and the Saudi royal family, both of which had been targets of sort of virtue signaling criticism from Mr. Biden. So if he had just said, these are all my achievements, and plagiarized Trump's work, and I would have preferred that. Everybody would have. And then he could have taken credit for what was very successful. But he wasn't interested in pragmatism. It was ideology ruled everything.